But like you were highlighting, Trump is definitely not going to be happy with this decision. Anyway, he wanted US to play a role in the selection process. Now, the Israeli military that had also warned earlier that it won't hesitate to target whoever is chosen as the next leader. So now, what should we expect from this side? What should we expect from Israel and the US? Will this further intensify the war? What are you reading?
Well, I'm sure the Israelis and the US military will try to assassinate the new supreme leader, just like they assassinated his father at the beginning of the month. I have no idea what his future is, how long he's going to be supreme leader. He's clearly a target. It's a big unknown if he's going to survive or not. But I think probably the Trump administration is very frustrated to see this type of defiance from Iran. Trump was very arrogant in believing that he was going to have a say in who becomes the next leader of Iran. And like I said, Iran has been very defiant. Let's keep in mind the new supreme leader is a hardliner. He's very, very close to the IRGC. He is, I understand, to be much more conservative than his father was. So there is a real strong message that is being sent from the Islamic Republic to the United States right now. This is not just simply about defying Trump. Like I said, this is about asserting Iran's sovereignty and making it clear that even the American-Israeli war on Iran does not deprive the country of its sovereign rights, including the right to select its own leader. In terms of your question about how he's going to deal with the Gulf states, that's really difficult to predict. Right now, Iran is continuing to target GCC countries with its acts of retaliation. Whether or not Iran and the Gulf countries will come to some sort of a ceasefire remains to be seen, but I think probably the strategy of trying to foment chaos in the neighborhood to put pressure on regional states such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE to use their leverage and their influence to try to persuade Trump to halt the American and Israeli aggression against Iran is going to continue. I think that probably this is a new leader who is going to be even more hardline than his father. I think that's very safe to say right now.
Right. So we will wait out for if, the other GCC states try to persuade US to, come to a ceasefire. But while we wait for that, there's been a lot of collateral damage that the strikes have done as far as the energy infra is concerned. Oil prices have already surged 20% in the last 24 hours. In the countries in the region, they have begun to cut output, and the Strait of Hormuz that effectively remains closed. Now, U.S. Senate Democratic leader, he has also called on Trump to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to stabilize the markets. However, Trump did say that the price hikes are only a short-term impact and it's a small price to pay. How are you reading this situation, as far as the energy infra is concerned?
Well, I think the longer that this conflict continues, the worse the global economy is going to suffer as a consequence of this war that America and Israel waged on Iran. Clearly, the Iranians have many cards at their disposal: control over the Strait of Hormuz, the ability to very easily target energy infrastructure in countries such as Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And we have seen, as your program has been reporting today, there are huge impacts on the global energy landscape and the global economy at large. I think the Iranians believe that time will be on their side and that countries around the world are not going to have much patience for such an economic crisis. And I think Tehran believes that these are cards that it must use in order for countries around the world, including the gas and oil-rich GCC countries, to try to put pressure on Trump to halt the military aggression against Iran and to abandon this agenda of toppling the Iranian government. I think if the Islamic Republic is able to survive, the leadership in Tehran would consider that in of itself to constitute an Iranian victory, despite all the death and destruction that we've seen across Iran over these past 9 days.